Dia de los Muertos is a day that the souls of deceased loved ones come back to visit the earth. And what's scarier than their display is over 82,000 people in Northwest Arkansas face food insecurity. That's according to Feeding America. And with new technology such as the Ring doorbell and outdoor video cameras, your package would arrive to your front door just a little safer. But with silicon carbide, they can withstand higher temperatures, which means they can be used in newer ways. And you may be asking why I have a dog in my hands. And that's because this is actually a pet-friendly community. They recognize that your pet may be your best friend. But with more work and research, Dr. Mantu says they could jump into other industries, even space.
Ese día los muertos vienen a visitarnos sus almas.
It's been nearly 7 years since Maria Duarte's husband passed away. On this Day of the Dead, she celebrates his life with his picture and an offering of roses at the community altar.
Yo lo hago por mis hijos, de traer la foto aquí, porque yo miro a mi hija cuando viene ahí y mira y dice, ahí está mi papi.
Latin Art Organization of Arkansas has set up the altar for the community. The director says after a difficult year, she saw the need for the community to come together.
Decidimos hacer un altar comunitario para honrar a todas esas personas que han fallecido a causa de esta situación, porque creo que la comunidad hispana ha sido una de las más afectadas por esta pandemia.
According to the CDC, the Hispanic population is 2.3 times more likely to die from COVID than a white, non-Hispanic person. This past year, Maria added her brother and uncle to the altar. She suspects it may have been COVID that caused her loved ones to die, but can't be sure. As for this Dia de los Muertos, she hopes that her family can keep celebrating the lives of those they have lost.
Es una bonita tradición que yo le digo a ella que no la deje perder. Lo más siempre el Día de Muertos, acuérdate de tu papá, de ponerles lo que le gustaba.
And the tradition continues for Maria's family, as her son sets up his own altar at home. After realizing his passion for electrical engineering, student Kevin Chen came to the University of Arkansas for his studies.
When I was talking to Dr. Chen first, he showed me silicon carbide. He talked about it a little bit, and that piqued my interest.
Now, silicon parts like these, they are usually paired with some sort of cooling element. But with silicon carbide, they can withstand higher temperatures, which means they can be used in newer ways.
So silicon carbide is supposed to be one of the next generation materials able to withstand those higher voltages, higher temperatures, where silicon couldn't handle it.
The bottom line is I can build electronics that can go into places that I could never send silicon electronics.
With an $18 million award from the National Science Foundation, the University of Arkansas can build a research and fabrication facility working with silicon carbide. As Dr. Mantooth explains, this opens opportunities not only for students, but partnerships as well.
We're that one-off specialized prototyping, but low volume prototyping place where all of these research ideas can be unleashed.
Dr. Mantooth says they have been approached by over 50 organizations, including 30 universities and 15 to 20 businesses in automotive, aerospace, and heavy equipment manufacturing.
This can open a lot of doors for students when it comes to current experience, up-to-date research experience, and honestly, it's just a unique thing.
So unique, in fact.
This will be the only one in the country.
I should have been here. I was at work, and she notified me that the package wasn't here. I was like, review the cameras.
With the footage gathered by his cameras, Fayetteville resident Irving Macias posted screenshots to the Facebook group What's Wrong Fayetteville, hoping to find help. House representatives look to avoid situations like Macias's by bringing forward House Bill 1317. Before this became law, lead sponsor Lee Johnson says officers face difficulties finding package thefts.
In order to investigate a misdemeanor, they have to see the person commit the crime. And so by moving it to a Class D felony, we were able to create a situation now where the police can better investigate these kind of thefts.
And with new technology such as the Ring doorbell and outdoor video cameras, your package would arrive to your front door just a little safer.
We were able to arrest quite a few individuals because people took their surveillance of their home into their own hands and helped law enforcement solve those cases.
Macias has now added security measures to his home, such as this deck box. With new laws in place, he hopes no one else experiences this.
I mean, if we could find who's stealing packages, prosecute them, maybe it'll scare other people into, avoiding that scenario.
Located in the Springdale Center for Nonprofits is the Marshallese Education Initiative. The group kept the Marshallese community informed and during the pandemic assisted with those struggling to make their rent payments. Marcina Langreen and Trina Judy Marty of MEI worked with Washington County to help the Marshallese community complete their applications.
We got contracted through Washington County basically to be service providers, and our main purpose is to basically help translate the application in Marshallese. So
When the eviction moratorium ended August 26th, Langreen says the community rushed to receive assistance.
it went to like 30 calls, like we could get up to like what, 50, 70 calls in just one day just for
or they'll just
rental
come to the
assistance.
office, like.
And then we'd had like lines outside our office.
The $7.1 million from the Consolidated Appropriations Act helped establish the Emergency Rental Assistance Grant for Washington County. However, the county received a lot of criticism as they had received funding prior to the act. Washington County has received a total of $4.5 million from the CARES Act fund, along with a total of $46 million from the American Rescue Plan in 2 installments. So far, the county has received the first installment of the American Rescue Plan and have decided to use it towards the county jail, along with putting $3.5 million of the CARES Act fund into the general fund of the county. Justice of the Peace Patrick Deakins explains that the hesitancy to use the funds comes from dispersing them correctly and without any issues.
If those funds were to be misused or even used in good intentions, but later found out that they don't meet the requirements of the American Rescue Plan, the county will be on the hook to replace those funds.
During the pandemic, the county jail faced accommodating the health crisis with no extra support from the courthouse. Deacon says the funding going towards the jail is to incentivize working during the pandemic, especially during the Great Resignation.
We've actually used some of those funds to enhance those salaries and those compensation packages to give people bonuses and that type of thing, performance type incentives to stay.
Despite the criticism, Deacon says the county will provide help. They just need to figure out how to effectively and efficiently do so. As for the rent relief issue in the Marshallese community, Langreen says the issue has been resolved.
It just slowed down a bit.
Yeah, it slowed down a bit.
Surprisingly.
And a bit is really good from where it was before.
Some of the other places that are like helping with rental assistance, like they don't have like what we are able to do.